Now that you know the purpose of soldering, let's review some important safety stuff before moving on. So, soldering iron is, I guess, the source of danger, the main source of danger here. This iron that's in your kit comes with this little plastic tip protector, but when you're using the iron, it'll just be like this. I'm touching it right now because this thing is unplugged and has never actually been plugged in. This is fresh out of the box. When the iron is on, the tip is super duper hot. It's so hot that a quick touch like this will give you a burn. Just a quick touch. It is not like a candle flame that you could pass your finger through and you'd feel a little heat and not be hurt. You will be hurt by a quick touch here. It is designed to conduct heat to whatever is touching it, and it will conduct heat right onto your skin. You'll get a second-degree burn very, very quickly. And of course, if you maintain contact, you'll get a more than second-degree burn. So just be careful. This was a little bit loose when it came out of the box. I'm going to tighten this. Just finger tight should be okay. You want to make sure the iron is totally held together. Nothing should be loose coming out of there. Now, in addition to being dangerous if it touches you, and you should consider this entire part hot up to the handle. You can hold the handle safely, and there's like a ridge there, so you won't accidentally slip your fingers beyond that point. Of course, touching flammable things would be really dangerous. The kit that we have did not come, or the soldering iron we bought, did not come with a stand. I made a stand and I put it in your kit. I made it out of a paper clip. You're welcome. I thought it was very inventive. So the way I expect you to use this little dinky but basically functional stand is to set it down like that and then set the iron on top of it. And the main job of the stand is to prevent it from accidentally contacting anything. So when the iron is set down, you should make sure that it's in a comfortable place or a location that will not be of any risk to touching anything. So don't put it down like that on the table. Always use either my stand or some other stand. If you have another one, that's fine too. Okay, so the iron itself is certainly a source of danger. Now, the process of soldering is actually the process of taking a piece of solid metal and melting it until it becomes liquid. Liquid metal is riskier than solid metal in a safety sense, in that it could like flow somewhere. What if this solder had a little bit of air in it? That little bit of air could cause there to be a little pop. That would be like a manufacturing defect, but it's not unthinkable. There could be a little pop of liquid metal. And you're probably leaning in kind of close when you're doing your soldering. So in conclusion, when you're soldering, you should protect your eyes. And you should just be aware of the fact that it's possible there will be a small amount of liquid metal that like jumps out of the soldering puddle at any moment when it's liquid. So just be careful and put on some eye protection when you're doing your soldering. By the way, this solder that's in your kit, it says lead-free rosin core solder. Lead-free is good in theory from a safety perspective because lead is a known toxin. However, there's a funny warning down here. Warning, this product contains traces of lead. So even the lead-free stuff may have a little bit of lead in it. There's other solder, like this one, for instance, not in your kit. This solder is labeled SN60PB40. SN is the chemical symbol for tin, and PB is the chemical symbol for lead. The 6040 means this solder is 60% lead, 60% tin, 40% lead. So this has a lot of lead in it. It's not just like some trace amounts. It's a lot of lead. Yours is lead-free. At least lead is not listed as an ingredient. Yours has tin, silver, rosin, and copper. Now, when you're soldering, you might see a little bit of wisps of smoke coming out of the soldering joint, out of the liquid metal, and that's normal. Breathing in that smoke is not great, so we want to avoid breathing in that smoke. That's why we've included in your kit a fume extractor. These are basically a fan that is blowing in this direction. So this is the filter is going to be facing towards you. The fan is going to be pulling the air away from you. It's going to be filtering whatever fumes are coming out through this filter. It's a charcoal filter of some sort. If the filter becomes very clogged or like has a bunch of white gunk on it, it's probably reached the end of its life. And in the one that included in your kit, you have another filter you could put on it. You could just replace this one out. Interestingly, the risk of breathing in solder fumes from the metal is actually pretty low because we are melting the metal, but we're not turning it into a gas. The higher risk is that you would breathe in fumes from this stuff, the rosin, which is mentioned. So the rosin is actually going to produce a little bit of smoke and fumes that if you were to breathe it for a long time, it could, if you had asthma, it could trigger the asthma, something like that. So please do use a fume extractor. And finally, the little bit of metal that you are melting could possibly get on your hands, tiny little bits as you're doing your soldering action. So actually, before eating, or really the simpler way is when you're done soldering, wash your hands. Start by washing your hands before you do anything else. Okay, next, we're finally going to actually do some soldering.